A couple days ago, I posted this video on my Instagram and Facebook of my son. All right, Brooke, show me how to skip again. Bro, hey, that thing's so my son's 6 years old. I just thought it was pretty cool. What you see in that video is a direct result. That's the fruit of the era of fishing that we live in right now. So what I mean by that is YouTube, social media influence is so heavy on fishing right now. I would argue, and this is what I'm going to say is no disrespect to the content creators, the influencers of years ago, which would be like Bill Dance, Hank Parker, Jimmy Houston, Orlando Wilson. This is like, I'm not trying to discredit those guys, but the level of content that you see from the influencers of the industry now is so, like, the bar is just so high. If you can tell me you saw Bill Dance skip a bait caster like that, and I love Bill Dance. I never saw anybody on Fisherman skip a bait caster. You do see that from influencers and fishermen on YouTube. Nowadays, the bar is higher. The expectation, the skill level. We talk a lot about, we give so much credit to electronics and technology today about being able to catch a fish, but a lot of the fishing that I watch is raw fishing. I mean, it is literally raw fishing. But I'm saying all that to say this: there has never been any kind of effort on my end. There was never a day where I said, "Come on, son, I'm gonna teach you how to skip this frog with a bait caster." I never did that. That's never been. I don't know that I've done a little bit to show him how to fish, and I did have to show him how to fish a bait caster, but there was never an effort or a class by me to teach him how to do that. He learned that all on his own by watching YouTube videos. That was what you saw in that video, was a direct response to Kicking Their Bass TV. That was a direct deal. My son watches a lot of Raw Fan. He knows more about fish species and tropical fish and cichlids. He had to tell me what a cichlid was. I don't know what that is. My son, like, he got all of that from YouTube. I think that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool that our generation today is learning the sport, and they're learning about fish, and they're learning about the sport in a way that I didn't learn about it that way. I didn't experience it that way, and the bar is just so much higher. They're learning pretty technical skills at such an early age because they're seeing it from influencers. Like, Brooks saw somebody on YouTube skipping a frog. I've never even fished a frog with him. That's the first frog he's ever owned. We went to Academy one day. So sometimes that's our little Sunday evening trips is, we'll go tackle shopping, which is another thing I have to get to here in a second. That's one of our little Sunday evening trips. Is sometimes, I may not have time to go fishing. I don't want to go fishing. And if we can't go fishing, or if it's raining or storming, whatever the case may be, we'll go tackle shopping, which I think is, what fishermen don't love the tackle shop? Come on, we all love the tackle shop. So I'll take him to Academy and we'll go and look at lures. We'll buy stuff for the ponds we fish or whatever. But this particular trip, whatever, he goes, "I want to buy this frog." So it's like a little spro popping frog. He wants a frog. I was like, "Okay, son, you can get the frog." And little did I know the reason that he wanted to get the frogs because he saw Kicking Their Bass TV, and they were fishing frogs and they were skipping them up under and stuff. Like, that's where he got that from. That's where he got that from. Had never fished a frog before, never taken him. In my mind, I'm pretty good about moving my kids to the next level, maybe even before they're ready, because I think we underestimate like what they can do we think, oh, I'm not my kid. You know, they can't. You hear this all the time. Well, their attention span is so short, and is this that. Kids' attention spans are not short. They may not like what you're doing, or maybe you're communicating ineffectively. Like Brooks, it's almost every time that I take Brooks fishing, he is crying when we have to leave. We underestimate what our kids can do, which is why I gave him a bait caster while he was still kind of making a mess out of a spinning rod. Because now he's intrigued and he's challenged by, and it's a challenge for me sometimes. I do have to pick out a lot of sometimes I do have to pick out a lot of backlashes. So when you go fishing, you probably want to go with the mindset that, okay, today I'm going for them and not necessarily me. Because sometimes I don't even pick up a rod. I just go from Brooks and Mia, untangling, unhooking, unraveling, unbacklashing, feeding, retying. I just go from one to the other. Never even pick up a rod. It's that busy with 2 kids. You can push them along a lot faster than you probably think. Like, they can figure out a lot of stuff a lot faster than you probably think they can. So giving them a bait caster, maybe exposing them to some type of fishing that is maybe a little difficult, that actually keeps them engaged more, because they can't do it. They can't figure it out in 5 or 10 minutes. Brooks has yet to catch a fish on his bait caster. He's had it a year. He asks me to take it every time. And so I love that about him, that even though he hasn't caught a fish on his bait caster, every time we go fishing, he wants to bring it because he wants to check that box. I think that's what you want to do with your kids is like expose them to something that they probably something they can't do. So if you got a kid and you take them fishing and you're taking them with a bobber and some worms, to a lot of kids, that's pretty boring. I mean, it's boring to me. I don't want to just sit there and let the thing just dangle around until it goes under. That's fun for a little while, and then it gets old pretty quickly. But you know, if your kid does love that, let them do it. But don't be afraid to take them doing something that's maybe kind of hard, maybe a little bit above their skill level, because that's actually what's going to keep them engaged and interested in them. Like my dad did that to me. He exposed me to bait casters really early on, and he also like he had me driving the boat way before I should have. I don't even think you could take a kid to drive a boat as early as he took me back then. But I wouldn't be scared to challenge him at all. Anyway, the point of this video was just to number one, make sure people knew, like, I didn't teach my son to do that. Maybe I facilitated the effort, but who really gets the credit is the content creators of today. It's pretty cool to see what's going on.